Alright, we're live. So I'm gonna try to do a problem from the Advent of Code calendar, or whatever this is, Advent of Code 2021. As you can see, I've done problems 1 and 2. They're pretty easy. And I figured I'd make streams just cause it's a nice accountability device as well for me. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. I've done. You can follow along wherever. I've done part 1 of this, and I thought I had a solution for part 2, which is this right here, but it doesn't work. And I'm just gonna start over again, and because I'm not trying to debug that. I'll just write it cleanly this time as well. So the other thing is I'm not very good at programming. I'm just trying to get better at programming, so I'm just gonna stumble through this, and I'm sure it will drive some of you people crazy. But that's just what we're doing here. Alright, anyway. So let's get started. So the test input for this question is this right here, and I have it here. And I add this space at the bottom because that's just how I'm reading it. What's the syntax for this? Okay. And how am I doing this? Right, I'm converting this to a NumPy array because the way I'm dealing with these numbers is I want them to be a numerical matrix rather than a string. So I'm creating this report matrix, which is a NumPy right. So length of lines and length. So that's however many lines there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, by the length of each string, which is 5. Well, it's actually 6 because each one of these has a new line character, but I'm going to subtract 1 from this. This minus 1, that's the size of my zeros. Yep. Cool. And then now, really once I have lines, I don't need any of this. So I can just indent this away. So I want to read the string as cheese. Let's see if that works. Ooh, that's not good. That could work. So we gotta remove the new line character. Is that what the first number is? 0100. Cool. Let's see, should I write a cool nested list comprehension? I mean, that's not how I did it in this one. Yeah, I went line by line. I don't love that way to do it, but yeah, we gotta get started on this. For line in lines, so for each line, I would like to say that report IDX row all columns is int digit for digit in line. Alright, let's see what happens to this. Alright, line -1. So that should look the same as this, and it does not, because I forgot to do this. Okay, that looks fine. And I also want this shit here because I don't like that little... Oh, it doesn't do shit. Okay, whatever. So we have the report as a numerical matrix. Cool. The next thing then to do is gotta analyze this report. Okay, so to find the O2 rating, determine the most common value in the current bit position and keep only numbers with that bit in that position. Yeah, so this is where it was a little kind of complicated because the list is changing dynamically. So first we need to develop the logic to figure out what is the most common bit. And the way I was doing that was to calculate the sum of this matrix. So let's say sums is the sum of report. If I print sums, then that's what you get. So basically this is just giving us the count of ones in each column. And since we know the length of, or like the vertical dimension of this array, since we know the vertical dimension of this array, we can figure out that one was more common or less common. Okay. And the way I was filtering out, yeah, I basically did everything in an array form. I don't want to end up doing the same thing and like rewrite the same code, because that way obviously didn't work. Like it worked for the test example, but it didn't work for the big example. So let's see. Okay, so we have report, and now I want to create copies of report. So I'm going to say O2 rating and CO2 rating. I'll just call it O2 and CO2. They should both be the same here. And now let's work on O2 first. What? Oh. Okay, so if and O2 is going to be that dynamic array that we talked about. So if sum of O2 let's say we're at current index 0. So that's going through for each thing in the report. That's not what we want though. No, we want it for each bit. Right, for each bit that we're looking at, we want to find the most common in that column. And also there's going to be a check that we're going to have to do later. So if the length of O2 is 1, then just continue, break out of this loop. Here now we want to check if the sum of O2 at the IDX position, because remember the sum is going to be an array, a 1D array, or a 1D whatever numpy thing. If the sum of O2 at the index if the, let's say, if the length of O2 if O2 dot shape sub 0 minus this sum, so that gives you the number of zeros, is less than the number of ones, ones are most common in this bit position. What? Weird. Then do something. Well, do what? If ones are more common, then O2, the new O2 is just the old O2 subscripted such that O2 at all rows IDX column are equal to 1. So that's how our O2 will change. And we'll just say ones. Selecting ones here. Else if O2.shape sub0 minus sum of O2 IDX is greater than sum of O2 IDX, which means that zeros are more common in this position, right? Because 12 minus, let's say, 4 zeros or 4 ones means 6 zeros. So 6 is greater than 4 here, yep. Then print selecting zeros. And then we want O2 to be O2 sub IDX equals 0. It's a bit repetitive, but whatever. Else if, well, the third is that they're equal. So we'll just say else. And the case here is both are equally common. And in the case of the O2 rating, we will pick 1. So basically this guy again. And so for this case, we should get 10111, which is what we're getting here. So that's good. So you basically whittle down this list and you get it down to whatever based on the correct I mean, it's the same logic for CO2 as well. I don't want to necessarily, it's a bit repetitive. Yeah, I'll just change all of these. Alright. Oh, of course, the logic is different, so that answer was wrong. Because we want it to be, let's see, determine the least common value. So we will just flip these guys, I believe. I don't really know, but I'm guessing that's what it is. And the answer should be CO2 rating should be 01010. 01010. Cool. So that seems to be working. Let me get rid of these guys. And I will undent this guy. So we're looking at this. Okay. So now that that's done, we have our O2 and CO2 ratings. Now we gotta basically convert these to binary, and it's another bitch, because how did I do this here? Right. Yeah, I looked this up yesterday. This is really not important, but yeah, gotta do it. So basically, if I say O2, then I get this array, right? And O2.shape actually is 1 by 5. So it's like a 2D array technically. So the first thing I'll do is I'll squeeze this. So now it's just a 1D array. So you can see like the brackets are just one pair of brackets. And after squeezing this, I would like to convert this to a string. So there's a function for this. It's called array to string. And we're going to say separator is empty. Well, it's empty by default, so let's see what it gives us. So is that a string? So what if I say give me everything but the brackets? Okay. Why is it giving me... Oh, because these are floats. I need to tell this to be int O. Yep, there we go, now they're ints. The separator is a space, so I still have to. Want the separator to be empty so they're all squished together. And I would like to interpret this as a binary number, so I'm going to add 0b to this string. That makes this a binary number. And now I want to interpret this as a integer with base 2. So that's 23, just like it is in the example. And similarly, I would like to print CO2, which is 10, and what I would actually like to do is save these as O2 and CO2. And final answer is that. Cool. And I guess here I should print O2 CO2 and then CO2. Cool. So we've got this, and that's correct, and that's what I had before. But as soon as I use the actual input, which is this guy, it all goes to shit. Yep. So add that last space, and now if I just run this, that is different from what I was getting yesterday, I think. Was I just fucking sleepy? Oh my god, this is the right answer. What the fuck did I do yesterday? Yep, see, yesterday's code gives me a different answer. 486, 3608. Ah, I was doing something wrong with the CO2. Well, I'm not gonna spend too long trying to figure out what I did wrong, but I'm explicitly checking for this. Is this what's causing the issue? You know what? It doesn't even matter, because that was in the past and this is now, and we have finished this. That's great. I'm gonna stop this here because it's fucking 30 minutes to do this shit. Like I said, I'm not good at programming. I'm trying to get better at Python. Yeah, so I'm gonna end this here, and we'll do the next one later. Maybe right after. Who knows? All right, cool.